Tesla is knocking off Toyota for the king of California. While they're changing prices, Ford is cutting jobs as they go electrified. And we're going to talk about their new battery plant in Michigan as well. And we'll also mention Vinfast once again. I made a video last week talking about I don't think they're going to last here in North America. And it's not looking good. And then we'll also talk about Subaru making more recalls with their wheels falling off. Welcome back to the channel. This is Kirky Cars, where I talk about electrified industry news, and make sure to subscribe. And let's get into Tesla knocking off Toyota, especially the Camry here. So the Model 3 has surpassed the Camry, and we knew the Model Y. We'll talk about the Model Y briefly, but the Model Y in the past already knocked off the RAV4. Now, that's not indicative of the whole country, but California is a trendsetter. Typically, what happens there first can follow suit in the other states. So Model 3 is already referred to as a Californian Camry, and Model 3 registrations in California in 2022 surpassed those of the Camry, of course, and every other passenger vehicle, more specifically cars, not crossovers. In 2021, the Camry held that role for many years. Model Y, of course, continued on for their second year on top, beating out the RAV4. Toyota still, however, has the crown in California for total percentage of the market, but that could be changing. So Toyota currently has a 17% market share with almost 300,000 registrations alone. And then Tesla is 11% market share with 186,000 registrations in 2022. Tesla, however, doubled its market share from 2021 to 2022. Are they going to double again in 2023? It depends on pricing. We'll talk about pricing in a little bit. I don't think we'll see a doubling. I think there's going to be a point where the EV appetite is becoming more saturated and people aren't going to continue to buy at huge rates like this, but I could be wrong. And that's why I love covering this, because it's still a big mystery. Our Tesla buyers today are historical Honda and Toyota buyers of the past. They're now switching over to 3s and Ys. Auto News says Tesla's already become the #1 luxury segment automaker in the United States. I've already made a video on my main channel talking about how I believe Tesla is not a luxury automaker. They make two vehicles that you could definitely make the argument, but the 3 and the Y are not luxury vehicles, especially when it comes to NVH and quality of materials. Technology, performance, yeah, great, but luxury is more than just that. In 2022, Toyota had sold 622 BZ4Xs. Honda doesn't sell EVs right now. Their first one will be next year with the Prologue as well as the Acura ZDX. What's impressive is that Tesla in California has been able to move EV market share to 17%. Hybrid market share is only 14%. And a part of that is that a lot of the competition is kind of skipping hybrids at this point, going full EV. Honda, Toyota, Hyundai really believe in hybrids still, as well as BEVs, even though the Japanese end doesn't offer that many BEVs. Nissan is skipping hybrids altogether. We know Subaru will be offering some in the near future. Mazda will be offering plug-in hybrids, mild hybrids, and normal hybrids based off of Toyota's hybrid technology as well. So more hybrids will be coming on the market. So this situation of 17% EV market share, I think it'll keep going up in California as long as they become more affordable to the masses. But I also think hybrid market share will continue to rise from 14%, but might not ever actually beat out the EV market share. Going over to Reuters, Tesla changes US prices for 4th time in 2 months. Tesla has changed its prices for one version of each of its Model 3 sedan and Model Y, the 4th price adjustment for the electric vehicle maker since 2023 began. Model Y has just gone up in price by $1,000. However, it has cut price on its rear-wheel drive Model 3, the entry-level model, by $500 to $42,990. Both of those qualify for the EV tax credit. So that brings the base Model 3, if you can, get that full EV tax credit back to you, at about $35,000. Shifting gears over to European news, Ford cutting almost 4,000 jobs in Europe in the shift for EVs. They will retain about 3,400 engineers who will build on core technology provided by their US counterparts. So Ford cutting nearly 4,000 jobs due to rising costs, and as they pivot to electric vehicles, they don't need to have the manual workforce that they once needed. And this is a plan that the domestic automakers don't talk about a whole lot. The Japanese automakers bring this up a lot, and this is also slowing their transition to EVs because they feel like they're responsible for keeping all these people employed in their country, in Japan, in the era of electrification. And if they just switch to EVs, hundreds of thousands of jobs are going to be lost, and the economy is going to suffer massively in Japan. Well, the other manufacturers don't really care as much. Most manufacturers see this as an opportunity to make more money, not hiring as more people. Things can be more streamlined with EVs. You need less parts. And once the supply chain gets fully built out with battery minerals, battery production, inverters, etc., profit margins increase. Look at what Tesla's able to do. And they have like 4 to 8 times more profit per vehicle than legacy automakers. So this is Ford's Tesla moment as they're cutting unnecessary workers, which is unfortunate for the workers, but this is just the nature of the beast, I guess you could say. Let's bring Ford news back to the States. They're building a $3.5 billion battery plant working with CATL, which is the largest battery manufacturer in the world, which is of course based in China. And the UAW is organizing the plant's 2,500 workers through a card check process. I guess we'll read more into that in a little bit. This plant will open in 2026 as a fully owned Ford subsidiary. The plant will have a capacity to build 35 gigawatt hours of lithium iron phosphate cells. So they're sidestepping nickel, cobalt, as well as some other minerals that are absolutely necessary for NMC batteries. And they're swinging for the fences for LFP batteries, which are safer. They don't have the energy density, but they cost significantly less, about 50% less than NMC batteries. So these batteries will power up to 400,000 electric vehicles. And I think I remember reading an article earlier this week saying General Motors is saying, hey, we won't be able to provide $20,000, $30,000 electric vehicles unless we switch over to LFP batteries. So here's Ford kind of reflecting that as well with CATL. Now, Ford was considering Michigan and Virginia, but Virginia's governor, Glenn Youngkin, removed his state from consideration, saying Ford's partnership with CATL would serve as a Trojan horse for China into the United States, helping the Far East bolster its EV battery dominance and spread its influence. Ford executives on Monday said that they are aware of potential political pitfalls, but that the contract is set up to give the automaker control of the plant's operations. I love this little diagram here given to us by Ford, and they show the benefits of nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries and lithium iron phosphate. So we know the higher density and power of the nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries, or the NMCs. And what's also important for the NMC batteries is that they have better cold weather performance. LFPs suffer more in the cold. They do cost way less, like I mentioned, about 50% less. Their availability of materials, especially in North America, is a lot easier to get, also contributes to a lower cost. They also last longer. I didn't know that about LFP batteries having a better lifespan. That is great to see. So it's a little bit more stable of a chemistry here. So could we see LFP batteries be more partitioned to the southern climates and southern states where it's a little bit warmer? I don't know. It'll be fun to see how different battery technologies emerge and become successful in the coming years as this transition happens. Now, Ford is getting about $1 billion in cash and tax breaks for building in Michigan. Jobs at the plant will pay anywhere between $20 and $50 an hour. Not only do LFP batteries last longer, and they're safer too. Inherently, they don't catch fire like NMC batteries. They charge faster as well. I don't think they charge as well with cold temperatures. They will put these CATL batteries in the standard range versions of the Mach-E next year and F-150 in early 2024, even though they won't start making batteries there until 2026. So we'll see CATL and Ford products well before then. Ford is on track to produce 600,000 EVs annually by the end of this year and 2 million by 2026 as it attempts to earn market share from leader Tesla. 2 million by 2026. Tesla's already, I think they did 1.3 million in 2022. So Vinfast CEO Pam Nat Vaughn, I could have butchered that. He said he's not going to invest any more out of his own pockets for the EV automaker, and they're bleeding money. They lost $3 billion from 2021 to September 30th of 2022, and the losses will keep happening. Vinfast has a rough road ahead of them in the United States. Their original batch of EVs are late. They're coming in the second half of this month. They've already been pushed back. Their battery plant still hasn't been approved in North Carolina. They still say they're on track for trial production in the facility by 2024, but they haven't built the site. That's pretty crazy. And until they start making vehicles out of that plant in North Carolina, which could be 2024 at the earliest, they won't qualify for the EV tax credit. They're also banking on the EPA to increase the VF8's driving range, which sits at 207 miles. And lastly, Subaru recalling more Solterras, almost 1,200 this time, because the wheels can still fall off. The issue has been caused by a single third-party contractor, which did not properly complete the repair procedure for the previous recall, and the contractor may have left some bolts under-torqued, which could result in the wheels loosening. So they've already been recalled the first time and fixed, but the fix wasn't actually a fix, and they have to recall again to fix the problem that originally happened. This is a nightmare for Toyota's ETNGA platform, but Toyota knows they need to move away from it as soon as possible. I just posted on my main channel talking about Toyota, more specifically Koji Sato, bringing the new platform. Lexus first in 2026, and I'll trickle down to other Lexus and Toyota models from there, but we're still a ways off. And they need ETNG platform to kind of carry the torch until their new skateboard platform can be a more competitive, cost-effective option going into the next decade, essentially. But I got into there, lots of EV news today. I'll see you in the comments. If you enjoyed it or made it this far, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to Kirky Cars for more electrified news, and have a great day.